Hi everyone, welcome back. How you doing? For me, I'm sure we're doing fine. How you doing, Vera?
I'm very good,
And how you
thank
doing,
you.
Pastor?
I'm good. Good to see you back.
Yeah. So welcome to today's podcast. Today we're going to be talking about standards, relationships, and expectation. But before that, I want to introduce everyone. My name is Tosin. I'm co-hosting with Vera today. Where can you introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Vera. I'm co-hosting with my very beautiful co-host, Tosin.
Shegun Odue, but people call me PSO.
Okay, thank you very much. So today we are talking about standards in relationships and expectation. We all know that as a single person, there are expectation in relationships. So we want to ask and get more clarity in that area. So my first question is going to be like, what standards should a single person have that is realistic?
All right, since our focus is ladies, and I think it's good to make it clear, for a single lady, of course, that template may also now work for men. It's important to be able to have certain values that undergird your decision making. And when I'm talking about values, I'm talking about the the things that you see as important, the things that you hold important to yourself. And so you must be able to have some moral values. You must be able to have some work values. You must be able to have values that relate to relationships, some spiritual values, and all that. When you put all this together, they form your basic standard. Because when you're talking about standard, you're talking about the yardstick or the benchmark by which the parameter that you use to decide on something. So it's values that you will use to actually serve as a standard when it comes to relationship.
So I think that means that standards is necessary.
Yeah, it's important that you must have standard because
Okay.
if you cannot be everybody's wife, you cannot be everybody's friend. The Holy Scripture says that can two people work together except they agree.
Exactly.
I have found out that when people's standard do not match, that's where most often than not there is conflict and then ultimately divorce. So divorce are not accidental; they are product of something. When there are no standards and then people just get married without any defined standard, then anything is bound to happen.
Okay. So does standard grows or improve over time? Or does it change or is it something that is fixed?
Well, really, I must say that as an individual grows, your standard will likely shift. Let's take, for example, as you advance educationally, your understanding blossoms. And so also the things that you will accept or tolerate, will also change.
Okay.
So with growth, particularly with personal development, mental growth, and all of that, and sometimes even financially, your standard is likely to also adjust. When you are as a lady working and you are earning 20,000, you probably will be at the standard. And then when you move to work in an oil company and then you earn in hundreds of thousands, then again your standards will adjust because your standard of living will be different, your taste will be different, and so that will also affect the standard of who you really want to give into, except God now tells you something otherwise. So standard will adjust as your life, the structure of your life improves. But why are you laughing? That's the reality of life. Even spiritually, when you are young, spiritually, your standard will be. But as you grow spiritually, your standard will also change. So to a great extent, your status or your level will reflect the kind of standard that you.
Okay. So can you like give us a rough sketch of what standards should comprise of? Like if you're setting a standard both for male and for female that you're single and you want to go into a relationship that should lead to marriage, what are the parameters for setting of standards? Because Gen Zs in this our age like this, you must have a house in Lekki, you must have 3 cars, you must have kiniko, you must do kiniko. I don't know what I want to do that one for. But really, like, what should be the parameters for setting of standards for singles, both male and female now?
You know, because we this show is PSO speaks to ladies most of the time. I'm tuned to speak to ladies issues.
Yes, all right.
But I mean, just to fit into the question you are asking. I know people set standard for different reasons.
Okay.
Primary of that, I mean, is has to do with where you think you are going or what you think you want to achieve, the kind of life you think you want to live, the future you envisage.
Of course.
You know, those are the reasons why people set some of the parameters. So, for example, somebody said, I want to marry somebody that has dual citizenship. The person certainly have obvious motive that probably at one point in time, I want to relocate or I want so. While I may not so blame people for the standards that they choose, it's important to note that some standards that people set are frivolous. Frivolous in the sense that they really don't, they are not the core.
Okay.
They are just appealing to the individual's vanity. But if you're going to think about right standard, I think we should be thinking about moral standards.
Okay.
Okay. I think we should be thinking about standards of character, the quality of character. Okay. What kind of character should the person I want to marry be made up of? You know, the character of a person with relations to his approach to life, his approach to people, his way of handling issues, and all of that. Those are the things that we should be looking at that are basic.
Okay.
You want to look at standards like the spiritual level or growth level of the person. You want to look at standards like the person's approach to work. Is this person diligent? Is this person a lazy person? And all of that. You want to look at standards like a sense of direction.
Okay.
Does this person have a vision? Does this person know where he's going? And all of that. Those are the things that you should be looking at. Not issues like, oh, if he has a house in Banana Island or those ones are only those ones are only appealing to an individual's sense of vanity. You know, because again, some people actually like to hold on to the ephemeral material things, and so they use that. Because some guys also on the other side also look for ladies who are made, who probably have a car, have a house, have good job, even though they don't have one. Those kind of things.
All right. So I think what we hold as important too should be part of the standards.
Yeah, that's why I said your value system.
Okay.
Yes, your value system.
All
You know what you see as.
Okay. I think that's.
You see, I was laughing when I was talking. I was laughing. Hey, let's be practical.
Okay.
You have these standards, and then you write them, or you imagine, or whatever you want to do. But how do you balance it in a way that you are, when you look at this one, I'm like, okay, this one maybe is 3 over 4 of my standard, and then it becomes 80 barren. Like everything is just shine syndrome.
Wait. See, let's be honest.
What's that one?
You cannot genuinely have the right standard. You know, just like I said, there are basic standards, and there are frivolous standards that only satisfy your own vanity. Okay, standard like, oh, I want a guy who is tall, 6 feet tall, who has the parts. I want a guy who is going to take me to the eatery, give me all kinds of treatments. You know, I want a guy who is going to take me around the world. I want a guy who is going to pamper me. You know, it doesn't matter how I throw the tantrums; he's just going to solve it all and all of that. Those are standards that appeal to your vanity as a person. But when you look at the basics you know, because in reality, in the real sense of it, nobody is perfect,
Yeah, yes, sure.
you know. So when you are realistic in your setting of standard, okay, what do you look for?
Okay.
A man who is not lazy, who is hardworking, a man who has a sense of direction. Now, when I say he's lazy, not hardworking, means that okay, he doesn't have to necessarily have the whole world, but at least he has something that he's doing. You know, he may not be a millionaire, but he's striving at something. He has a sense of direction. Okay, this guy has character. You know, in other words, when he says yes, the yes means yes, the no means no, and all of those things, you know. And those are basics. But if you are now, all the other things that you now add, those are the ones that give problem. Now, I'm not saying those things should not be there, but there should be flexibility. Okay, for example, you say you want a guy who is very clean, you know, cleaning and out. You may meet the guy, your real man might actually not be clean when you meet him.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm saying now?
Yeah.
And when I mean not clean, doesn't mean that it's very dirty, but may not meet your standard of cleanliness,
Yeah.
what you call cleanliness, you know, and all that. So your parameters might adjust. So you have to know these are the basics. These ones are flexible.
Oh, okay. So I'm trying to come from the aspect of societal influence on standards, especially when it comes to ladies now.
Yeah.
Because I feel like
And you have a lot of that.
you are too choosy. Like you are too. That's the word that they use. Like you are too choosy. Like they believe that when they see someone, they be like, okay, this one should, you know, just look at the
Fit in.
periphery and like you should rush me. And you are like, this is not what I want, or this is not what I want. And they start looking as if you are always choosy and everybody's not up to your satisfaction,
Exactly.
something like that. Now,
yeah.
how do a single lady, you know, work around that kind of a scenario whereby they feel like she's choosy, nobody's satisfaction, she will see one thing that is wrong with that one, she will see one thing that even when your standards are realistic now, no frivolities. So how do we do that?
Well, again, we have to explore that context.
Okay.
Who are the people that are in the society of that person? Because when we talk about society is very complex, made up of different kinds of population. There are different segments in society.
And let's take the family. Let's
Yeah.
take family
So-
and friends.
So,
I'm mommy's friend.
okay,
And
so
relatives.
so even among that, there are differences in terms of economic status, educational status,
okay.
and other parameters. So you will find out that the kind of pressure that will be exerted by a rich family is different from the kind of pressure that will be exerted by a poor or middle class family. Do you get what I'm saying? Now? So those are listen. But there are two sides to this matter. Number one, there could be pressure that says, oh, you cannot go for anything less than this. That's
one.
They give you very high expectation. And the other side that may not consider what you are considering, not because they are really considering values, considering the standard. They are most often when family members or friends put pressure, most often than not, they are not considering the values and the standards of the individual. They are more concerned about the fact that the person is running late.
What's come and eat
They are
rice?
considering age. They are considering the fact that by now you should have been married, your sisters are married, your aunts are married, and all of that. Those are the things they consider. And that's where I would say that the individual that is involved, the lady that's involved, must be able to have an internal conference.
Okay.
And
Internal conference.
yes, you hold a meeting with yourself and ask yourself, why am I making this decision? Why am I going this direction?
Okay.
And then once you are able to clarify why you are making those decisions and taking your stance, then you want to communicate it to people that are significant around your life, your families, your friends. Okay, so when they are bringing their pressure, they understand where you're coming from. But you know, if they see that, okay, this guy comes, you are saying no, that one comes, you are saying no, and they really are not brought into the know why, what you are looking for.
Okay.
You know, when you're able to bring people to the know what you're looking for, this is what I'm looking for, these are my standard, these are the things I will not compromise. I think reasonable family members also don't want you to jump into trouble, except those who are just under the pressure of social approval. Oh, just get married.
Okay.
You know, so if we're able to sort that out, I don't think we should have a problem.
So what What do you advise for a single that has all our standards, but keep attracting the wrong sets
of people.
of people?
Well, there's something called positioning. There's something called positioning. When a lady has the right standard, take off the extraneous
Yeah.
standards of vanity. The person needs to check where am I situated. For example, as simple as where you live matters.
Okay.
The companies that you keep, the places you show up, you know, they matter because it will determine the pool that you can fish in. You know, so it's just the same way the way one does business, except there's the intervention of providence,
Okay.
where God just does His own, you know, and you can't take that out of the equation. God can just come on the scene, and irrespective of that, just does His own. But outside that, there is a need sometimes to be in the right company, to be in the right place, to relate with that. You know, sometimes I see ladies who really don't have any social life. They don't want to relate with anybody. They don't want to talk to anybody. They just want to be in their world and all of that. And then they are looking for to being fine, you know, to be found. You know, and I tell people, you see, if you take a simple equation from the first marriage, now God took the bone from Adam, went somewhere else completely different, made a woman, but He didn't keep the woman there.
Yeah, you have to bring.
So He brought the woman to the man for the man to be able to find her. So that means there must be a place you must be brought.
My God is a miraculous God. You can bring a man to my doorstep.
Well, I agree that God is a miraculous God, but again, common sense just teaches us
Yeah, that's
sometimes
true.
that we need to do what needs to be done. Yes, God can. I mean, I must be honest with you. God can do anything, but one wants to explore. Could it be that because you see, sometimes part of God's miracle is that He will provide for you or create opportunities for you to be in certain space or certain circle.
Okay.
So your choice might say, "I'm not going to be there." Do you get what I'm saying now?
Okay.
Your choice just feel like, I don't like to go to this place. I don't like to meet these people. I mean, I've heard of stories of people who met their husbands in places they really didn't think they want to be.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm saying now? So it's all about you just being able to know, okay, what are the options that God has provided for me? What are the places God has put me to be, and all of that? Can I maximize those things? Sometimes, in order to make a lady or a guy marry correctly, God can change where you work, can change where you live, can change the kind of people.
That was where I was going. Like, when it comes to standards now,
Yeah.
after you are done with your sketching and everything, and you're still like, where I'm staying, I can't find school people in this kind of environment.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yes.
Like, does standard dictate where you actually stay?
Yes,
Like,
sometimes
your
you might
environment.
you might need to prayerfully ask God, am I living in the right place?
Because I feel like, no, really, when you draw your standards to an extent,
Yes.
and you just be like, it's going to be difficult for me to find the kind of person that can come into this kind of,
Yes.
in this kind of area.
Just like I said, providence of God can do anything.
yeah, it can.
But you must also be watchful that the providence of God is not already pointing your attention to say you have outgrown this place.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm saying now? So one must watch all of those things, because you wonder why somebody else will be in a particular place and then God will walk the person somewhere else and then somebody will see them suddenly. Do you get what I'm saying now? So I believe that if the man is, if the woman or the man, or whichever it's the case, understand this concept, it becomes easier to be able to say, okay, what is God saying to me now? You know, I believe so much in asking God a lot of questions. You know, when you ask God questions like, oh God, am I in the right place? Is this the place you want me to be? And all of that. I mean, God doesn't like to keep things from us. It will show the person, okay, you're not supposed to be here. You have outgrown this location. Okay, move to this place.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You know, one of the things I found out with God, locations matter with destiny. When it comes to God,
Yeah,
and
of
to
course,
destiny,
of course.
there's a lot that is tied to the location we find ourselves as it relates to our destiny.
Because I have a friend, actually, she just relocated recently, and she has different reasons for relocating. But one of the core ones was because she said, it's like all the guys in this place is not, it's not seeing me. Like, they're like, I look on all of them from A to Z, there's none of them that just into my criteria. And it's very funny when she was saying it. But to an extent, if you can really think about what she was saying, like, she was actually making a lot of sense, because she's been staying there for, I think, 6 or 7 years now.
Okay.
And it's like
But
she has a meeting.
she has to be also sure that it's God telling her that.
Everybody has a meeting. It's not really scratching the surface.
She has to be sure. She has to be sure it's God saying that. But if it is God, but I believe very strongly that it's one factor to consider.
Oh, okay. All right.
So finally, let me ask: are there any tips we need to watch out for that would be like an indicator that your standard has been reduced, or
your standard has been increased,
or you are over
standard?
No, I think it's good. It's good to think it out.
Okay.
Particularly, I want to suggest that a person thinks it out in paper.
Okay.
What am I looking for?
All right.
Physically, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, okay.
Financially, 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right.
Are you listening down?
Sense of direction, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Good thing.
You know, economically, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Thank you.
Career-wise, 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right.
So when you sit down and you write it down,
Okay.
and you think through it, you'll be able to find out if you are overpricing or you are underpricing.
Oh, okay.
Now, when it comes to having standard below, I think the person comes into play. I need to first look at me. Okay, for example, I don't expect you as a graduate, for example now, you're learned, you're a graduate, you speak good English. I don't expect,
English.
and then you have a relatively good job, and then you want to marry, you choose to marry a roadside organizer.
But to be honest,
I'm not saying
have
it's
a
impossible.
standard
Because there's
to
something like
be
that.
a builder that brings out the best in people.
You see,
And they can work on the roadside to we have people that send their spouse to school, sponsor them to college, you get do ministry in their life.
you see, it's easier for a man
Okay.
to be up and find it easier to pull a woman up than for a woman up to pull a man up. It will take God to have divinely instructed the woman. And I mean exactly what I'm saying. When a woman is up, except the man has a sense of security, he will keep feeling inferior, and that will in fact affect their relationship dynamics.
Wow.
Then you will hear something like, is it because you are more educated? Is it because you have more money?
Yeah, I am. What do you want to do about it?
And again, you see, a woman cannot afford to do that. Because once the rule of the game requires that a woman should be submissive to the man that she's married to. And I must be honest with you that it's very difficult when you are at this level of intelligence and you are married to somebody at this level of intelligence. Submission becomes challenging. And as long as submission is not done, there will be reactions. So the woman will now need a lot of wisdom to feign submission.
Yeah.
What I mean, to feign submission, not necessarily to pretend. But you see, at this level of intelligence, you know certain things are right or wrong, which may not be seen at this level of intelligence. Now, if you are a woman, you cannot come out in confrontational style to say, this is right, it will be seen as, because you have,
And why don't you just get someone that is more intelligent than you?
that's exactly why I said that you cannot do right. No, she started it. And that's why I said,
All right.
you understand biblical, moral, cultural, social, just mention. expect that a woman should submit. That doesn't mean she should be subservient,
Okay.
but she should submit. That's defer to the man that she's married to. So, which means a woman is not permitted, does not have the luxury of lording it over a man. A woman doesn't have the luxury of trying to boss a man.
Okay.
Okay. So if that is the context, it means therefore instruction doesn't flow upward. You can't instruct your boss. So, but you can advise your boss. So a woman can come and say, I want to correct my husband. Do you get the idea now? But you can come to say, okay, I want to advise my husband.
Wow.
And the attitude is advice and correction are not the same.
Ah.
So when you come to say to the man, I've always told you that the way you do this your thing is not good. You can't you see that you're always failing at it?
Yeah.
You know, that attitude is different from you come to the man and say, don't you think you approach this thing different? I'm just thinking, consider it. I'm just thinking, finally, your decision is yours, but I'm just thinking that if you go this way, maybe it might be different,
But can we not use start to let him know that it's going to feel as if he does not follow?
No, you can. You start to make it clear that it will fail. But
Follow your thing like this again, go and fail.
you see, that's not the right condition.
I think to answer that, that we need to
Do you have any
have
serious
practical questions from the comment section.
Oh yeah, you can ask questions, yes, and we'll answer it. So,
And then we can
No man this scenario, like this is what is happening. How
Exactly,
do I
it is.
do it? Because sometimes I'm very serious. Sorry, sir, I want to say something that
please be free.
men can be
Egoistic. That's what you want to say.
yeah, no, not that one. Like their head is hard.
In what sense?
Like you don't need to do of
They don't
is it force
listen.
now? Like you apply a bit of pressure, they will not get it. It's ego. Okay.
See,
They will not get it.
I don't think you cannot really apply force. Sincerely, you can apply force to a man and get results.
Oh, okay.
A woman can never force a man to do something. You won't get the result.
So we should baby them.
No, it doesn't mean it's just you just need to be wise in the presentation.
Men are the most baby people in the relationship. Men are the baby.
Well,
They are the baby in the
well,
relationship.
I beg
I don't understand.
to be fine. All right, maybe another time.
Thank you, but I think that's a good question for that. So thank you everyone for joining us today. If you have questions, if you have comments, if you have things to be creative on, please feel free to share it with us in the comment section or send it a direct message. But
All right,
between
God bless
now
you.
and then,
We look forward to hearing from you. We'll answer you in the comment section.
And if you have any kind of family situation that you will love us to treat, we are going to make it anonymous. We are going to address it and give you solutions that we think that you can apply to your marriages, your relationships, or in any kind of scenario that you're going to be needing our help. So we'll be expecting your comments in the comment section. All right. All right. Thank you for joining. Bye.
exactly. Thanks so much.